Good morning, students. Welcome to your geography class. I hope all of you are well. So, food security. So, today we'll start discussion of food security. Okay. So, this topic you already discussed in your previous class. We already know about this. Okay. So, what is food security? Now, we need to have this food for our basic survival, as we all know. Every citizen of a country should have the accessibility to the food, as it is the most important thing of our life. Okay, so we require to have a nutritional minimum nutritional through this food only possible. So if any segment of the population does not have the access, so that segment suffers from the lack of food security. Of course, if any segment of the society is not having proper foods, it means they are facing a huge problem in their life, and it's duty of the country that to provide food or to provide facilities so they can access to the food sector. So there's a number of people in India that they don't have the accessibility in food. Now, not only because they are poor, sometimes we have some natural disaster, like we have a flood, drought, cyclone. Okay, these things we also have faced. So we require to have the food security. If any time any sudden problem we face, so we can survive. Okay, so numbers of people who don't have the food security is disappointingly large in some areas of the country, particularly economically less developed states with higher residence of the poverty. So in the region where we have a large number of poverty or large number of poor people, they require to improve the food security. Okay, and it's a responsibility, as I said, of the government to provide food. Okay, now the remote areas of the country are more prone to natural disaster and uncertain food supply. In order to ensure availability of food to all sections of society, our government carefully designed a national food security system. As I said, not only because people are poor, it's also sometimes what happen now, we have some natural disaster. So due to natural disaster or any uncertain reason, sometimes we are not able to access food. So to provide or to secure people life, to secure the food accessibility, government have designed the food national food security system. This consists of two parts, of course. First of all, buffer stock, and second thing is public distribution system. Now buffer stock means where government is going to store, going to save the food grains like wheat, rice, bajra, these things. Okay, jowar, ragi. So these are some food grains basically government is going to stock. Not only this, there are other products as well, but buffer stock means where government is going to save, going to store some amount of crops. Whenever they require it, they are going to give it to people. Second thing, now after saving it, after storing it, we need to distribute. So this distribution system is known as public distribution system, or PDS. Okay, so PDS program is which provides food grains and other essential commodities at subsidized price in rural and urban area. Okay, so PDS system is a very good type of system where not only in rural people, in urban areas as well, people can have the food grains and of course other essential commodities like sugar, kerosene, salt, okay, oil, of course. Okay, these things have been a very low price rate, within a very low price. That's not only in rural area, as well as we are having this system in urban areas. Okay, so India's food security policy has a primary objective to ensure availability of food grains to the common people at affordable price. So this is the basic motto of the national food security, that all of us should have the food within an affordable price that we can afford. Okay, it has enabled the poor to have access to food. Of course, this system enable the accessibility of the poor, that they can easily afford it. Okay, so the focus of the policy is on growth in agriculture production and on fixing the support price for procurement of wheat and rice to maintain other stocks as well. So it's not only, this PDS system is not only helping poor people to have their food. This PDS system also helps the small farmers and marginal farmers to have their income, as they are selling their crops to the government. They are getting a minimum price rate, okay, which is a fixed, but still they are having at least an income, which is a good initiative taken by the government. So the Food Corporation of India (FCI) is having the responsibility for procuring and stocking the food grains, whereas distribution ensured by the public distribution system. So who is going to take care of the stock, how much stock, what is the price? Now it is FCI. There is FCI who is having the responsibility to take care about the stock, to fix the prices and all, okay, and to buy and sell the whole system. There is PDS system as well, those who have the responsibility to distribute these crops as well as the essential commodities to each and everyone within a affordable price. So the FCI procures food grains from the farmers at government announced minimum support price, as I said. So FCI is going to give farmers, specifically small and marginal farmers, a fixed government price rates. This is called as minimum supportive price. So the government used to provide subsidies on not only in crop, they also provide subsidies on agriculture inputs like fertilizer, power, water. These subsidies have now reached the unsustainable levels, have also lead to a large scale insufficiency in use of these scarce inputs. Okay, excessive. Now, as government provided subsidies to some particular product like fertilizer, water, power wise, so now some farmers started doing excessive use of these things. Okay, so when we are excessively using these products like chemical fertilizer, pesticide, insecticide, or anything chemical and we are going to excessively use the irrigation system or groundwater, it is going to affect the land, of course. First and foremost is going to affect the land. So land fertility will decrease a lot. Not only the fertility will decrease, it will also lead us towards the land degradation. So land degradation increase a lot in India due to only agriculture sector. As excessive use of anything is not good. Okay, every single thing we should use in a stabilized way. If there is unsustainability, automatically it will have a bad impact, and that's now what is happening. There is a bad impact on agriculture sector due to excessive use of these products. Okay, so the high MSP minimum supportive price subsidies in inputs commodity FCI purchase have destroyed the cropping pattern. Of course, the excessive use of anything is destroyed the whole cropping pattern. Wheat, paddy crops are being grown more in MSP. So now farmers started producing products or crops only to get MSP, like specifically in Punjab, Haryana. Okay, so where, as we know, with net sown area is high. Net sown area is high in Punjab, Haryana. So this area is specifically suitable for wheat production. But to get more MSP, farmers started producing rice as well over there. As you know, the climatic condition, because climatic condition is not suitable to produce rice over there, so farmers started using excessive pesticide, fertilizer. They started excessively using of irrigation system. They started using excessively getting water from ground. Okay, so this thing is affecting the environment. There's this creating an imbalance in our ecosystem. Okay, so this is not good, of course. So this has also created a serious imbalance in intercrop parties. So not only these type of system is affecting the environment, the ecosystem, is also affecting the contract, the agreement or imbalance between the income as well. As farmers of Punjab, Haryana, they also started producing rice. So now companies are there, those who started buying it from them. Okay, so they are having income for wheat, they are also getting the income for rice as well. So this is creating an imbalance in between the income of two parties, which is not good, of course. Okay, we need to create balance in our society, not only for environment as well as in our economical sector. So we have, as you know, consumers wise, we have divided two categories. Okay, we have two types of consumer categories, that is APL, which is above poverty line. There is BPL, which is below poverty line. So with the issue price being different from each other category. Okay, now APL, BPL is there, both are able to have crops or any essential commodities from the from this PDS system, but the issue price or price is totally different. Okay, as BPL, which is below poverty level, government, they know that they are not able to pay a price rate, but APL, those who are above poverty line, government know that they can provide this much price rate. So issue price or price rates of the product for two different sector is totally different from each other. Now, but however, this APL BPL system is not a 100% perfect segregation in between two category, because there are so many people due to corruption and due to so many illegal way. Okay, what they're going, they are having their BPL card. There's so many people, those who are not belongs to the category of BPL, but to get all the facilities they made a duplicate or illegal BPL card. Okay, so there is, we can't say the segregation between APL and BPL is 100% perfect. Not only this, there are so many people coming from rural and remote area. They, maybe they belongs to the BPL category, but they are not having the card because of the education, because of the awareness. Okay, being below that poverty line, still they are not having the facility, and there are some people, those who are above the poverty line, but still getting the all the facilities, which is not correct. But as we all know, not possible, it's not possible for any government to check each and every person individually. Okay, but we still go through with this. Okay, because we need to provide facilities, we can't stop providing facilities. Okay, we continue, we have to continue, but yes, of course, we need to check, we need to observe, and of course we need to control the corruption. Okay, we need to control this illegal works as well, because we want that each and every citizen should get the facilities, and they should provide the price as well. Those who are able to pay the price, they should provide the price. Those who are not able, of course there is facility for them. So some APL slip back to BPL. As I just said, there are some people, those who are belongs to the category of APL, but they are enrolling themselves in BPL category because of the failure of even one crop, and it administratively difficult to accommodate such shifts. Right? We can't control these shifts because each and every person or citizen wise is not able to observe or check them. But as I said, we need to control the corruption, we need to control this illegal works. Okay, then only this system will become 100% perfect. So each district and block can make their self sufficient in food grains. Okay, within some type of infrastructure help and technical help, we can improve the each and every block, and of course in the districts. Okay, where they can go their products. Okay, if like not only we should focus on the main food like wheat, rice, we should go for other options as well. Okay, so grow water intensive crops, low rainfall areas like Punjab, sugarcane is Maharashtra. So in low rainfall area, we should, within the help of modern inputs, of course we can, we should not, we of course we should not depend upon a one particular crop. We should go for multiple crop, which is going to help the production of the farmers. Okay, not only, and one more thing, we should not stick to one particular crop. We should use, or we should produce different types of crop, vegetables, flowers and foods, which will give the ecosystem or environment a balance. It will give a relaxation to the soil, and of course the income level of the farmers also will change. So the big farmer with the deeper tubers. Okay, now as the way infrastructure is going on, the way farmers are having, using all these HYVCs, fertilizer, etc for the high prices, is affecting the production, is affecting the environment as well. Okay, we, water scarcity, it's not only having the land degradation, is also affecting the water scarcity. Okay, so the focus on increasing food grain production, which should be on sustainable basis, and also free trade in grains, will create massive employment and reduce poverty. So when we are talking about the production level, we should also talk about the employment. As more production level will increase, it will also affect the employment. It will also help to employ, it also will help to generate employment. Okay, so it will reduce the poverty. So we should go for the more production just to reduce the poverty. So there has been a gradual shift from the cultivation of food crops to cultivation of fruits, vegetables, oilseeds and industrial crops. As I said, now not only farmers should focus to produce only the food grains, they also should focus, or they try to change their cropping pattern. So now the trend gradually shifted from the main food crops or basic food crops towards the vegetables, fruits, flowers, oilseeds and industrial crops, which is helping farmers to maintain or the balance of the fertility of the soil. This is a great thing for themselves as well, for getting good income. So the competition of land between non-agriculture use such as housing etc. and agriculture has resulted in reduction in the net shown area. Yes, of course, as the way production is going on, the way the land is very much limited within our country. Okay, so there's a competition between agriculture purpose and non-agriculture purpose. Of course we can't stop the development, of course we can't stop that do not make house, do not make in factories, do not make road, we can't say that. Okay, so we need to create a balance between agriculture we need to balance out the land to segregate between the agriculture activity and non-agriculture activity, because both are required. We are in a phase, we belongs to a country where both the things we require agriculture sector, we also require industrial sector, but we have a limited land. So the productivity of land has started showing a declining trend. Fertilizer, pesticide and insecticide which once showed dramatic result now being held responsible for degrading land. So when green revolution started, this pesticide, fertilizer, these things shown as a great result, but now the same thing is affecting our life. Now it's showing the negative thing. Now the way farmers started using all these products, first of all affecting the soil, land, water, and of course our life as well. Okay, so we need to balance out. Whenever we are talking about security, we need to think, we need to check that we should go for a balance. Equality should be there. If there is no balance, there is no equality, we can't process. Okay, so for the whole system we need to balance it out properly. Now next topic, as you can see, we have is impact of globalization on agriculture sector. Now, as you know, globalization is not a new phenomena. Globalization started from ancient time as well, when people started trading, okay, in different countries, in different parts of the world. Okay, so globalization basically started at a time of colonization. We call it colonization time period. Now in the 19th century, within European traders came to India. At that time too, Indian spices were exported to different countries of the world, and farmers of South India were encouraged to grow these crops. Okay, so yes, globalization nowadays, globalization, this is a very famous word, but it's not very much new. From the ancient time we are having that, as we know that from India, cotton, muslin, then we have spices, so many things we exported to different parts of the world, and that's why so many Europeans, so many traders, they came to India, they attracted to India, because in India agriculture sector was well established, and still the same exporting thing is going on in different parts of the world. And now crops production increased a lot, variety increased a lot. So during the British period, cotton belts of India attracted to the British. Ultimately cotton was exported to Britain as a raw material for their textile industries. As we know, Britishers, they came to India as they are attracted to the best quality of cotton that in India we are producing. So this is how the revolution, okay, industrial revolution or agriculture revolution also started. As we know, tea, coffee, these things also initiated by the Britishers in India. So there was a bad and good, both impact was there. Now globalization not only have some bad effect on agriculture sector, is also having a good effect. So these are the positive effect that Europeans started exporting our cotton, spices, tea and other products as well. So under globalization, particularly after 1990s, the farmers of India have been exposed to new challenges. Okay, so we discussed about the positivity, that how Indian agriculture spread in the whole world to this due to its quality, of course. Okay, and we have a great income through this export of agriculture product. But under this globalization, particularly after 1990s, the farmers started facing some problems or new challenges. So being an important producer of rice, cotton, rubber, tea, coffee, etc., etc., we are not able to compete with developed countries. As developed countries, they also started their agriculture production. Okay, and the way they are providing subsidies, okay, subsidies to their farmers, which is great. So when we we are checking that the subsidies provided by the Indian government to the farmers is very much less compared to them. So what's happening? The production cost is increased a lot. When production cost is increased a lot in India, so when they are selling it, automatically price rate is high, but the same quality and quantity of products other countries are providing people with very less price rates. So there is a competition about the price rates, as subsidies are very much less in India. Okay, Indian farmers are getting very less subsidies compared to other developed countries. Today Indian agriculture finds itself at the crossroads. To make agriculture successful and the profitable, proper trust should be given to the improvement of the condition of the marginal and small farmers. Okay, green revolution promised much, but today it's under controversy. As I said, green revolution started within a great success, with a great hope, but now it is a controversial thing because green revolution affected particular parts of India. It's not spread throughout our country. Okay, and the way large farmers are of course having a great land, they are increasing their profit, they are increasing their production, but it's affecting the small and marginal farmers, as they are not having that quantity of production and that kind of profit. So we need to balance out the both the things. The instead of using, nowadays people are like fertilizer and all chemical, basically chemicals and all. Now as we know, we overuse of these things are affecting the land, affect the environment, so people are not more into it. Okay, people are not like to, and as we know, as a human being, we all know that more chemical we are going to intake, it will affect our body. So people started having organic products, people have started having. Okay, it's expensive, but people started having that. Okay, so nowadays the keyword for production or to improve the production is gene revolution, which includes genetic engineering. What is this genetic engineering? Now genetic engineering is recognized as a powerful supplement in the inventing new hybrid varieties of seeds. So in through the help of genetic engineering, researchers are creating new types of seeds where they are going to create a variety of seeds which is going to help in the production of the crops, and this will sometimes take a less amount of fertilizer, pesticides or irrigation system. Okay, so we are taking out the or supplying the good quality of different seeds together in one part, and we are making a new type of seeds. So in fact organic farming is much in vogue today because it's practiced without factory made chemicals with, okay, it does not affect the environment. As I said, now organic farming is now very much trendy. Human beings are, as well as they don't want to have crops which is which where farmers use chemicals in it. So more organic farming is more into trend. Okay, so a few economics also thinks that Indian farmers have a big future if they continue growing food grains on the holding that grow smaller and smaller as the population rises. Yes, of course, economics they said that the way production of agriculture sector is improving and the way the population is increasing, it is going to affect the agriculture sector in a negative way, because we have only 250 million hectares of land to produce our agriculture product, and we have 600 million people or more than 600 million people. We can't stretch the land and we can't make it large, but the way uncontrollable population is increasing, okay, it's going to definitely affect our food, the security of food. Okay, people are going to suffer for food, so we need to check that, we need to control. We can't make land large, but we can control population, we can make people aware. Okay, not only that, because more population will increase, it will not only affect the food grains, it will also affect the employment. So we better should take care about these things. The Indian farmers should diversify their cropping pattern from cereals to high value crops. Okay, so farmers should introduce new, farmers should go for, or they should produce new types of crops, or they should change their cropping pattern. Okay, because this will help them to improve their economy, as well as it will help the soil as well. Okay, so this will increase the incomes and reduce the environmental degradation simultaneously. As I said, different types of crop you are going to use in your land, it will help the soil to balance out the natural fertility. Okay, because of fruits, now farmers are investing their money, or they are more into have fruits, medical herbs, flowers, vegetables, biodiesel crops like jatropha, jojoba, etc., etc. Because these products or these crops require less irrigation, less water, as well as there's a great demand of these products. Okay, so and this, if one time within the whole year, if once we are using or we are producing these crops, it will help to maintain the balance in the ecosystem, as land degradation will reduce. Okay, natural fertility will be intact. So India's diversified climate can be harnessed to grow the wide range of, because in India we have the variety in climate, we have the variety in crops and all. So we should take the help of these climates and all, so to make more different varieties of crop to help out our economy and of course to help our farmers. Okay, so today we discussed about the food security and impact of globalization on agriculture sector. Okay, so hopefully this video helps you to understand what is impact of globalization on agriculture sector, and hope this is you all understood that food security and how much it is important. So thank you students, thank you for watching today's video.